Hey guys, so I wanted to do a little bit of a vlog for everybody about our Disney trip. I had gotten asked a few times, like when we were gone, if I would do one when we got back, and so we're back for the past like almost 3 weeks already. So time goes so fast, it's crazy. But I wanted to update you guys on kind of tips that maybe like insider tips or whatever planning tips that helped me, and so I'm just going to do my best. I am congested and sick so hopefully I don't sneeze on you, but if I do, I apologize. So anyway, one of the first things that I did is I started planning about 9 months in advance. And I know it sounds crazy, but it is true. Like if you have a vacation in mind, the sooner that you can get started planning, the better, because it does take time and effort, and it also takes budget and money and all those things. So the better and the sooner that you can get started, the better. One of the first things that I did is I actually went to Barnes and Noble and got this book. So it's the Walt Disney World, the 2018 edition, and it's the official guide of Walt Disney World. And as you can see, I have lots of pages tapped. And I literally sat down on the weekends prior to planning and buying and doing anything for a trip and just read through this. And no, I didn't read through it all. Some of it, excuse me, is for cruise, for Disney Cruise Line. There's also some things that I knew already because I had been there 2 times before, but it was when I was 3 and 9. So it had been almost 20 years since I've been there. We were there in the year 2000. And it was kind of a special year because it was 2000. So it was like January 2000, that the last time that I was there. So a lot has changed and a lot has been added on. And so it was really great to have this book. Another great thing about this book is they do have coupons in the back. So if you are wanting to, use them, you can use them at Disney Springs. A lot of the coupons are for the Disney Springs area. And Disney Springs is kind of like the resort area where you're probably going to be staying. Or you don't have to either. You can stay on resort too. But it is nice to have some coupons. I did use a couple of them. I used one for Ghirardelli chocolate. There was another one for a restaurant that we ate at. So it's really nice to be able to have those coupons. Another thing that you might want to do before you start planning anything is apply for a Disney credit card. So the Disney credit card is actually a Visa card that you get. I was actually contemplating of getting one before we left, but I did not. We have too many credit cards the way it is, and Taylor didn't want to get another one, and I didn't want to get another one. So, but basically you get, I think it's like 10% off of your like eating and also your stays at Disney. And then you also earn like points to your next visit to Disney, or like money or rewards or whatever to your next Disney stay. And also for your cruise if you are doing a Disney cruise. So what I did to start planning is one of the first things that I had to know was dates. Like, so when are you going to be there? When are you going to actually be at the park? And I really recommend doing the Hopper Pass option. It's a little bit more expensive, but it lets you visit 2 parks a day or multiple parks per day or whatever. And that was really helpful to us because we only had like 3 full days at Disney. And then before we left for the Bahamas, but it was really great to be able to have that, and it let us see more parks. Also, another thing to take in consideration is Disney has 4 main parks. So there's Magic Kingdom, which is the main park, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, formerly MGM Studios, and then also Epcot. So you want to plan accordingly. And then there's also Universal Studios and SeaWorld. And those are 2 separate different topics. But we did Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and SeaWorld in 3 days, which is still pretty impressive. So if you're planning on going to all the parks like Universal, SeaWorld, I would highly recommend having like a good 5 days there. And I say that because Epcot and Animal Kingdom, I feel you can totally do in half days, and SeaWorld as well. So you don't really need full days. I don't know about Universal because I've actually never been there, so don't take my word on it, but I'm thinking you probably want a full day there because it looks like there's a lot to do there. I think I was maybe to Universal like, I don't know, 20 years ago, but I'm not sure. I'd have to ask my parents. I don't remember. And like I said, there's plenty of parks that you can do in 2 days, or like 1 day or a half a day or whatever. So that way you can get like 2 or 3 parks done in like 2 days time. One day or one park that you want to have a full day for is Magic Kingdom. It's a huge park and there's a lot of fun rides. It is definitely more geared for families and smaller children, I will say, but we did a lot of waiting. We did the most waiting there for rides, but it was really fun. They have really fun rides still, and whether you're an adult or a child, like, you're still gonna have fun on the rides. 100% guaranteed. So one of the first things, like I said, is knowing your dates. So what is your time frame that you're going to be there? You can totally, if you plan on doing just a short trip, like a long weekend, 3 days, 4 days, whatever, you can totally do it in that amount of time too. You just probably won't be able to spend as much time at each park as you want. For me, excuse me, I could have totally had more time at Epcot, like a full day at Epcot, just because there's all those different countries that you can go to, like Canada, UK, Germany, whatever. And for me, just the half of afternoon that we had there wasn't quite enough time, but we still had ample enough time to kind of go to each country and explore and get a snack or whatever. But if you were like a foodie or a food connoisseur or a drink connoisseur, then you definitely want more time there, because each country has its own like drink or cocktail and also their own snack. And then you can also go into each country and explore the gift shops in there. And they are really cool. So I kind of wish I would have had more time to do that, but I like history, and I probably won't ever get to some of those countries like Morocco or anything. So it would be cool to just spend more time there. And it literally, like, Taylor, my husband, hasn't traveled that much out of the state of North Dakota, but he did say each time you go into like a different country or area, it did literally feel like you were in that country. So just, be aware of that and just know kind of where you want to spend your time. For us, SeaWorld was important because I love animals and I love the sea. And I'd actually been there before, but it had been a while. And so it was really fun to be able to go there. A little worrying, SeaWorld is definitely more geared, or the rides at SeaWorld are more geared towards adults and older kids. So like teenagers, adults. We have a lot of bigger rides. And one of the rides that we did there was called Mako, and it's actually the tallest and fastest roller coaster in the state of Florida. And I know I'm not that much of a risk taker. It was one of the rides that I said I would absolutely not do because it looks so scary. But we did it and I lived, but I definitely wouldn't want to do it again, just because I'm not a huge ride girl. But it was crazy. Half the time, most of the ride, I was out of my seat. Like, it was insane. If you want to look it up, YouTube it, Mako. It's actually after a shark. So like I said, the first thing, know your dates. The second thing to do is to start booking. One of the first things that I did is get our tickets. So once I knew the dates, I bought our Disney World tickets. And I mean, highly recommend getting, like I said, the Hopper Pass. It's totally up to you what other options you want to go with. I didn't get the Photo Maker Memory Pass option. It was an extra like $200. And I just knew that because we don't have little kids, it was just us, that we would just get like some little photo package at the end just to kind of remember our trips. And half the time the pictures from the rides didn't even really turn out, because one time we had girls in front of us going like this with their hands up in the air, and so that picture didn't turn out. You couldn't even see Taylor and I. Or half the time it was a water ride and we were both ducking so we wouldn't get wet. So just be aware of that. You don't need the fancy extras. You can totally get by without. So definitely get your tickets booked. I booked my SeaWorld tickets in advance, but then actually on Black Friday, they had a really awesome deal. I got like $70 off, and I called in to see if I could still get this deal. And sure enough, they did. They refunded me like $130 back for our tickets, which was awesome. So definitely be aware of sales going on, and don't be afraid to call either, because you just never know. So that's another good tip too. So basically, what I did is I started planning really early, and you definitely want to, because there is a ton of information on Disney, and there is a ton of information about Disney. So you really need time to process it all, because it can be really overwhelming. And the other thing that I really suggest doing is booking a hotel early. And the hotel can be kind of the confusing part. Like, do you stay on the resort? Do you stay off the resort? The biggest thing about Disney that I was the most worried about was just the transit to get there, because we didn't rent a car. And yes, you can Uber or Lyft. And it costs typically around anywhere from like $8 to $11 to get to the different parks. And it just depends which park you're going to per ride. And so basically we did have a shuttle that came to our hotel because we stayed off the resort. We stayed in Disney Springs area. And then we had the shuttle bus that would take us back and forth to each place. But we didn't really care for that because you didn't have an exact bus schedule of like when the bus was going to be there or when the bus was going to pick you up at night. And so for us, it was kind of confusing, and we would just rather have an Uber because sometimes the bus was late, sometimes we missed it, and you just had to it was like a hit or miss thing. So anyway, we Ubered a lot. We took the bus or the shuttle bus the first day. But then after that, we're like, no more, we'll just get to the park. And we would get there a little bit earlier with Uber too. So that's a good option to remember too. If you stay on a resort, so if you stay at like the Grand Floridian or like the I can't think now, one of the other resorts that's like in the like the Disney circle, basically, because there's like Magic Kingdom, Epcot, and then it goes through like the resorts. So the Grand Floridian is actually one of them. It is a little bit more expensive, but basically you can hop on the monorail and just go to Disney World then, like, or Epcot or whatever. It'll take you right there. Whereas like we had a shuttle and then take the monorail or the boat across the lake to get to the Disney World. So it's totally up to you, whatever you feel, but know that we did save some money by staying off the resort. It is expensive to stay right on a Disney resort, but then you do get access to like just the pluses of being on a Disney resort. With our hotel, we stayed at a DoubleTree at Disney Springs, and we were able to still get the extra magic hours, which actually we never even used because our schedule was so tight and we kind of had everything set up. But I highly recommend it. You can either get there early in the morning or stay later at night with the extra Disney magic hour. Which is kind of nice and kind of neat to do. So if you're looking at a hotel staying off the resort, make sure it has the magic hours. We were only there for 3 days, so that's probably why we didn't use it. And our last day, we could have used it. We were debating about using it, but we were so exhausted and so tired that we didn't. We just wanted to sleep that night. So the other thing that I would also recommend doing is checking in this book. So if you get this book, obviously they're going to have a 2019 one, and highlighting what rides you want to hit. And this is important because you get FastPasses. And basically what FastPasses are is they're a no wait option for rides. You get 3 per day, or 3 per park, sorry. So basically if you are at Magic Kingdom, you get 3 for that day. You also want to research which rides you want the FastPasses for. So what are the popular rides? Obviously, you probably don't want to get a FastPass for, the teacup ride or the flying elephants because it's not a super popular ride anymore. They're older rides and they're not going to have long wait times normally. So basically what I'd recommend is really researching your rides. For us, the FastPasses that we did, I tried to get FastPasses in the morning. So that way in the afternoon, we could either get more FastPasses. So basically after you use your FastPasses, you can get one more and then use it, and then you get another one. And so basically as you're using your FastPasses, you can get more FastPasses for that day if you're at that park. So that's something to remember also. But one of the FastPasses that we did was the Pirates of the Caribbean, Thunder Mountain, and Splash Mountain. And then we didn't end up getting one for the Mine Train ride. That's the one that we had to wait for quite a while. Small World, we also waited for quite a while. So some rides you'll get them for, and some rides you won't. You'll just have to wait. And for the Mine Train ride, the 7 Dwarfs Mine Train, it was over a 2-hour wait. So just be prepared to wait. Other rides that are really great or hot fast pass tickets are like the Pandora, both of the Pandora rides at Animal Kingdom, or the Mount Everest ride. Epcot, I would say, is probably the actual ball of Epcot. Or the Frozen ride was another one that we got a Fast Pass for. And also probably the Soaring ride is another one. Oh, Space Mountain would be another one for Magic Kingdom that you definitely want to watch Fast Passes for. So yeah, and like I said, just be aware of like what rides you want to do. And then, you know, like I said, if you can get them in the morning, try that. And then that way you're open to getting more in the afternoon, or else just standing in line and waiting. I was also told that December, like the week that we went, so like the first, second week of December is a good time to go. But actually it was pretty busy just because now Disney is better at marketing. A few years ago, that would have been a great time to go because there would have been nobody there. But Disney is getting better at their marketing skills, apparently, because they also do the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party, and then they do a Very Merry Mickey Christmas. And so basically after Halloween is over, that's when they start marketing for Christmas. And so that is when you get more people coming because there's always an event or a special ticketed event to get into with Disney. And so there is more people, I feel like, every year, and the more people that I've talked to have said that as well, that it just gets busier and busier leading up to Christmas, like the weeks leading up to Christmas, and then of course over Christmas and New Year's. A good time to go, I've heard, is if you can, is in September. September or April is a really great time to go. There's not as many people. Kids have went back to school or not quite out of school yet. So it's a really great time to go and less wait times. So if you're able to go at those times, definitely check them out. You might also get a better deal on your hotels as well. Another thing to keep in mind is flights. So obviously we did a one-way flight there because we're also in the Bahamas, and then we came back home. So all of our flights were one-way flights. So basically keep that in mind. Obviously it all costs money. So setting a budget early and knowing how much you want to spend and where money is going is really important. And just kind of keeping track of those things as well. We flew into Orlando. It was about a 30-minute taxi or Uber or Lyft ride to our hotel at Disney Springs. So also keep that in mind. And Disney Springs was within walking distance of our hotel. It was about a 15-minute walk from our hotel. And that's like really where all the shops and restaurants are. Another thing really to keep in mind is we went shopping and got a bunch of Disney gear our very first night there. So we went out to eat at Planet Hollywood, and then we went to this Disney store. And that was a really great option because we didn't want to be carrying around all our shopping bags and stuff that we got at Disney World while we were going on rides because it might get wet. And who wants to lug that stuff all day around? Anyway, you're going to probably be waiting in long lines. So, you know, the less crap that you have to carry, the better, honestly. And one thing too is if you don't take a bag into the park, you don't have to get searched. So we never took a backpack or anything like that. We actually had our phones for the water rides. We put our phones, I got them on Amazon. They're just like little cases that your phone goes into. They're waterproof. And then it's like a lanyard. You wear it on your neck. And it's adjustable. And so basically it kept it safe for any water rides that we went on. My phone was never once wet. It was really great and kept it watertight in there, and you could still use it. Like you could still use your camera, you could still text, you could still use, you know, all your apps and things like that. So speaking about apps, I also wanted to talk to you about the Disney apps. So one really cool thing is if you're on iPhone or Android, you get certain Disney apps. So basically one of them that I like to use is this just Disney World app. I think the California Disneyland, I think they also have one. So what this does is you link it to your FastPasses, which I also got, or my wristbands that you get. Like I bought ours because we weren't staying at an affiliated Disney resort. It was a Disney resort, so we got the extra magic hours, but it wasn't on the property Disney resort. So I had to buy them. They're about $14 a piece, and that is just the starting point. You know, if you get them personalized with different characters and stuff, they're like $24. So I got us a band, a magic band, and then you link that with your FastPasses and your tickets to this app. So everything is there. It'll even say like your hotel and everything. Another really great option is if you pull this down and click up here, you can see the wait times for the rides. So you can see the mine train ride is 120 minutes. It's still a long wait. So basically you want to check out your rides, and you can go to each park as well. So basically it shows all of the resorts and then also the parks too. So here is, I think this is Hollywood Studios there. You can see the wait times for that. And then there's also, like I said, you can see the resorts and stuff. So there's like the monorail, you can see it goes around. There's the Grand Floridian. There's the Polynesian Resort. That's the one that I couldn't remember. And then the Contemporary Resort. So those are the ones that I couldn't remember. Contemporary, Polynesian, and Grand Floridian are the ones that like are surrounded with the Disney lake, basically. So that's a really great app. Another one that you would like to probably have on hand is the Shop Disney Parks app. So basically you can look through this and get any gear. It'll tell you what's online and what's in store. Another thing about this Disney World app is that you can actually reserve dining from here. You can actually order to go, let's see, order food. So basically it's like a fast pickup. You can link it to your hotel, like I said. You can buy your annual passes on here. So yeah, and it talks about the hours of Disney parks and like the show times and what's going on. So that's the other thing. Each park kind of has their own evening show. Like, of course, Disney World Magic Kingdom has the fireworks over the castle. We actually went to it. Highly recommend. If you're gonna go, definitely do that. It's definitely amazing. It's beautiful. The other parks each have their own kind of light shows, especially if you're going during the holidays. Epcot has its own thing. Magic Kingdom has its own thing. Animal Kingdom and MGM Studios or Hollywood Studios has its own thing. And also SeaWorld even has its own thing. And I'm sure Universal does too. So make sure you check all of that out and decide like each night what you're going to. And I know it sounds so scheduled, you guys. Like at first I was worried about that because I was like, gosh, we're on vacation. And I feel like we're not even going to be on vacation because we're so scheduled. Like we have to be here, 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 here at these times, and we have to eat at this time. And honestly, it wasn't too bad. One of the biggest tips is I thought that Disney Springs was going to be closer to like Magic Kingdom and like all of the parks. It's not. So don't make any dinner reservations. The only ones that you probably want to make reservations for, and you want to make these like 6 months in advance, is the character dining. So if you want to eat at the Cinderella Castle or Be Our Guest or, you know, any of the ones that are going to have character dining, make sure that you book those 6 months in advance. Otherwise, if they're in Disney Springs or not, you know, close to where you're going to be that day, like if you're in Epcot and you're going to eat that night in Magic Kingdom, it's not going to work. Like you definitely want to eat at that park. Excuse me. So just be aware of that, you guys. And honestly, planning for Disney, it takes time and effort, but it is so worth it. And just plan as much as possible beforehand and know your stuff, and you'll be absolutely fine. And if you need any questions or help or have questions, just let me know and contact me. I'm totally here as a resource for you. All right, we'll talk to you soon.